first thing I want to do is go over how to make crescendos. And to give you an easy way to go about doing that, I'm going to click that out first. So you're going to want to push the Shift key. Notice nothing's open up here, by the way. You're going to want to push the Shift key, hold it down, and then drag over the measure, or however many measures the crescendo might go through. And then you go up to Add here, and you go to Lines, and then you go to Crescendo. The crescendo is created. And there it is. So now you can take it, click on it, and move it up a little bit if you like. Whatever you want to do there is okay. Now you can also highlight a bunch of measures. So let's say I'm going to undo some of that, not that though. And I'm just going to, I don't know if it'll draw a crescendo where there are no notes, but we'll see. Yeah, it does. So however many measures you highlight will be how long the crescendo goes. Okay, so that deals with crescendos. Alright, now slurs. It's a similar process. You'll push the Shift key down, left click, hold, highlight, go up to Add again, go to Lines again, and you'll see slur, and it will create the slur for you like that. Okay? And again, you can go across several measures, or just one measures, or just a couple of notes, even. Okay? So let me try that. So now I'm going to shift and just highlight a couple of notes. Lines, slur. So now just those two notes are slurred. So hopefully that will help you now with adding slurs to the music. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is learn how to make ties and tied notes. So let's say I want to have a whole note in this measure tied to a half note in this measure. So I go to the Enter Notes area and click on that. And then I go to the whole note here and put the whole note here. It can be that note. Now let's say I want that particular whole note, A4, to be tied to a half note in the next measure. I click on half note, and I click on tie, and it does it for you automatically like that. Okay? So hopefully that helps with notating ties in music as well. Okay, so in some of the intermediate piano class music, there's what is called an octave sign. An alla ottava sign, meaning to play the notes that are notated up to the next place where those same letter names could be played. So for instance, this is D4, E4, F4, G4. But if I wanted them to be played D5, E5, F5, G5, there's a sign that I can put over these notes so that they'll be played in that place. Now, an octave sign usually won't be used unless you have to read a lot of what are called ledger line notes. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this now, how to add an octave sign. It's similar, so you push Shift down again, and then left click and hold, and then highlight however many measures, in this case just one. You go to Add, you go to Lines, and then Ottava, and there's your octave sign. And it begins and ends wherever you highlight. So anyway, for instance, what if I just wanted the last two notes to be up an octave? I hope that's the last two. I don't know if it is. Let me try this one more time. Try to be a little more accurate. I think that's better. So then Add, Lines, and then so the last two notes will now be influenced by the octave sign. I hope that helps with notating octave signs in MuseScore. So the next part of this tutorial has to do with adding lyrics to the score. So what you're going to want to do is whatever notes have the melody, you start with the first note, click on it, it'll turn blue, see it turn blue, and then you push Control L. Okay? And then you type in words. There are things to. I don't even know what I'm typing, but see how the notes separate to make enough room for the words? So that's how you do that. Now if you're going to have to type in, so I'm going to go in here and individually delete these words. There's just not the notes. Oops. Make sure I'm doing this correctly. So I left clicked the word and then highlighted the word and then right clicked it and then went down to delete. So again, I'm going to push Control L, and let's say I want to type in a word with more than one syllable. So C-O-M and then P-U-T-E-R and then a space bar is. So I type in part of the word, then a hyphen, part of the word, then a hyphen, then part of the word, and then a hyphen, and there you go. So if you have words that have more than one syllable, that's also what you'll need to do to enter lyrics using MuseScore. If you're needing to add pedal markings to the score, and for instance in Scarborough Fair, the particular selection that a couple of my students are needing to notate from the textbook, there are these pedal markings that include these long lines underneath and then a little caret and then another really long line. The caret is where you would change the pedal, lift the pedal, then push it back down. Rather than doing that, I think highlighting a measure and then pushing Control T will be good enough. Then PED, meaning pedal, and then just take that, highlight it, and then bring it down, and then just whenever the next pedal change occurs, do the same sort of thing. Highlight that measure, Control T, PED, and then just drag it, and then that's where the pedal change would occur there. So it's going to be hard to get those exactly right. Just try to get close, because that one's a little lower than that one, but that's okay. So I want to show you how to add a repeat sign. So you would put the cursor in a measure, click Shift, and then highlight that measure. I'm just holding down the left click and then releasing both. Okay. Then you can come over to the palette over here to either bar lines or repeats and jumps. I'll just go to bar lines here. It's the closest one. Say I want the first several measures to repeat, then go on. So I would just click that right there. And notice now you have the repeat sign there. Now there's more than one way to do some of the things that I showed you earlier. Like for instance the slur. Shift, highlight those notes, come over here to lines, and then there's a slur there. And so there's the slur there. Okay, and it slurred all of the notes. And you can add so many other things by using the palettes. If you just highlight however much of the score you want to be affected by these things, by any of these palettes here. Hopefully this is going to be of great help to you as you continue with your assignments, and hope to hear from you soon.